Hi.
Oh, hey, didn't expect to see you here. How are you?
Look at us unintentionally matching with the camo and the black hoodie and
Well, you know what? We got a vibe, kid.
I mean and apparently after almost 15 years together, this
But
is
I
what
need to wear my hat like
happens.
this because we like to hide our eyes with our hats,
It's just
which
what
is
we
a
do.
shame because your eyes are beautiful.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you think so. I need to take a shower. That's why I put a hat
Yeah,
on. I
we
need to.
know.
That's so rude.
Well, I saw it on Twitter today. What do you want me to do?
Anyways, welcome to the Life Unfiltered podcast. I am Ashley DeWeese, and this is my amazingly witty and charming bearded beau, Justin DeWeese.
Ka-chow, ka-chow.
Oh, wow. Wow, 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 wow. First things first, I just want to say that I don't even know what episode this is. I think it might be episode 45.
We're getting close to the big 5-0.
We are, and I've said it one other time, but I am really proud of us because we have, with the exception of one week, we have pumped out a podcast every single week since we began. And I'm proud of us for that because consistency is everything. Most people who start podcasts do not stay consistent with them.
And I understand why. Because
Sure.
as we're getting ready to do this every week, we message each other and we say, "What do you want to talk about today?" And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's like, "Oh shit, what are we gonna talk about?"
Well, I mean, I think some of that has to do with how we choose to approach this, right? Like
Well,
if we
sure.
if we gave more lead time, if we did a little bit more planning and preparation, like some of that would not be the case. But that's neither here nor there. This is how we do it currently. And yeah, like sometimes we're just like, ugh. And that's a topic we can talk about for another day. But
Okay.
also what I wanted to share is, life has been a little topsy-turvy lately, just business and kind of increased time being devoted to kids' activities, typical relationship and life ups, downs, and all arounds. My mom having total knee replacement surgery, which has, added a few more responsibilities and things to
Just a couple
our
wrinkles.
dynamic here at home. So with that, we have recorded a podcast every single week during that process. Go us. Um, and I think that's just an example of like if you make a commitment to something and it's important to you, like you'll figure out and find a way to get the things done, even if it's not always perfect or, in the best possible way. Like sometimes we record a little bit late, maybe release the podcast a little bit later than typical, but hey, it's okay for now. For now. That being said, we do have an Instagram account for the podcast. I really don't know. I've never taken the time to do any sort of data collecting on how helpful is it to have an Instagram page that shares clips from the podcast out with others? I don't know. But the reason I'm bringing that up is I just want to say if you are someone who potentially follows the Instagram page, it's not been updated in a while. It's just not the top priority. Um,
It's really not. It's kind
it's
of like
really
a nice
not.
to have.
It
I mean,
is.
let's be honest.
It is at this point. And, even the podcast isn't the number one thing on our list as far as
No,
serving people and, our coaching businesses and that sort of thing. So anyways, just want to throw that out there. Like we're still here, we're still showing up, we're still talking, hopefully giving you some value, but
still,
still,
very strokey with that.
that's like I don't even know. I don't even know. So, today I thought maybe we dig in a little bit, and just do some real time, show them how it's done type thing, with a new thing, exercise that you wanted to start with
Oh,
the two of us.
when you said you wanted to show them real time, I thought we were gonna have to start taking our clothes off or something. Not this
Okay.
episode. We'll save that for number
Not this
100.
one. Yeah, 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 yeah. Stick
Gotcha.
around.
Yeah, so I go to therapy which, that can be like, whoa, for some people and whatnot. Um, it's really not that big a deal. I mean, Ashley would tell you I probably am a little bit of a psycho, but it's not like that kind of therapy. Um, no, I just, it's part of the ongoing process of improving myself and becoming the best version of me that I can be so I can serve my wife, my kids, my family, my community, you guys, on and on and on. But anyway, we were discussing this week, my therapist and I, uh, relational aspects of my life. And he had what I thought was a really great suggestion. Um, because obviously that unbelievably beautiful creature over there is number one in my heart and programs, amazingly enough. Um, and so, how we relate comes up quite frequently. Because since she is my number one relationship, I want it to be as good as it can be, right?
Well, aside from
Um,
yourself, I'm the number one relationship outside of yourself and
well,
God,
yes,
of
of
course.
course, of course. I felt like that went without saying, but
It
you
doesn't
said it,
always,
and I'm glad you said it.
people don't always look at it that way. So
That is true. No, I
relationship,
told
relationship with God, relationship with yourself, then relationship with your significant other.
I told Ashley this the other day that my my key goals for going to therapy are to improve my relationship with myself and then improve my relationship with others in that order. Um, but anyway, he came up with a suggestion that I thought was great that I want her and I to implement, and that is to start the day telling, writing, whatever form of communication you choose, your significant other three things that you're grateful for. And the logic or reasoning behind this is it can be easy to wake up and, roll over and like, oh, that breath, or oh, she was kicking me all night, or oh, a thousand things, right? And if you start in that space, like how's your day with your spouse going to go, right? It's just you're getting up on the wrong side of the bed, so to speak.
Well, and also, like, not even just, first of all, let's pause that for a moment. Gratitude in general is a very powerful space to be in. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's a space that the moment you decide to step into gratitude or in a frame of gratitude, it will just change everything, even if just a little bit. So just the general practice of gratitude is helpful. But in this
Right,
case, like, even like you're saying, you gave the example of like if you're waking up first thing and you're thinking of your annoyances or, negative things about your significant other, but not even that. Like, typically, like some of the first things that can go through my mind if I'm not intentional about directing my thoughts in the morning is just to like all the things that I need to do today.
right,
Or, so it doesn't even, it's not even that your first thoughts waking up, maybe you're not the most positive regarding your spouse. But it could be about anything. And like with anything, the goal is that when you get into a practice of gratitude on any level for any reason, that you will start waking up more in that frame,
right.
as opposed to if you're not in practice, and certainly I'm not in a consistent practice of it. I don't necessarily wake up already in a space of gratitude. So
Well,
it's
it's
something
not
that
our
you,
default. It's not your default unless you choose it to be your default.
right, right. So, anyways, back to you wanting to start this practice with
Right.
us.
Well, and it kind of ties in with something we talked about previously, right? Of steering the ship,
Yeah.
right? So where do I want to steer the ship? Well, I want to steer it towards you, towards a better relationship. So if I start off that way, boom.
Well, and I would say, and we haven't, okay, so this was just your appointment was on Monday.
Correct.
And you shared this with me Tuesday morning because we have by the time he goes to his when
Correct.
he goes to his appointment on Monday, and then we have stacked children's activities the rest of the evening till late. And so unfortunately, I ask him how the appointment went, and he tells me, oh, it went great or whatever. And then we don't really talk about it until the next day because it doesn't make sense to talk about it as we're trying to
Just
like
takes some time to unpack, you know?
go to sleep that night. So it's usually lunch the next day when we talk about it. But that was Monday. Today is what is today?
Thursday.
So we didn't like officially, you asked me on Tuesday if that was something I'd be open to doing. And I was like, yeah, totally. Um, so you began it yesterday.
Correctamundo.
I did not begin it yesterday, and I did
Also
not.
correct.
You texted me three things you were grateful for me. I did heart those at the gym. And then I didn't comment on them and I didn't respond back to you, which I should have at least got back to you. I apologize for that. I did not.
Oh, that's all right.
Um,
There's nothing to be grateful for. You know, there's nothing to be grateful for. I get it.
No, but I have some things with it, and that was I think it'll be great for this conversation this morning about this as people may look at whether or not they want to implement this and what it would look like. But going back to just how this could be helpful to your relationship, from an individual standpoint, I think is what we've initially got at here, that by stepping into gratitude and identifying three things right off the bat in the morning that you are grateful for your spouse, that will impact the frame with which you start the day off viewing them.
Correct.
At the same time, for your significant other, and they're going to experience that too, because they would be reciprocating. Which
Hopefully.
I
I mean,
suppose, FYI, like, I mean, I guess that's another little side thing we can go down. Like, you could begin to implement this yourself, even if you're not ready to ask your spouse to join you in this, or maybe your spouse has some resistance to it. You can still do this on your own,
right.
whether
That's what I
you
did.
just whether you just write down the three things for yourself. Maybe you don't even share it with your significant
Sure.
other. That would be a place that you could start. And that would be beneficial to you as an individual and ultimately to them as well. So I have a hard time sometimes because there's like so many different things I want to talk about, but I'm trying to like stay on a um yeah, so like even if you just do it by yourself and you write it down for yourself, it's going to benefit you. And I would say that it would also still be impactful to them because ideally it does end up changing how you as an individual interact with them, even if they have no idea that you are executing this practice.
Right.
So,
Yep.
as always, it starts with you. You don't
It
have
did.
to have the participation of your significant other to do this.
I don't.
Oh, that's so.
Sorry, you made it too easy.
Number two, if you do have the participation of your significant other, it is also still going to impact you in that same way. They
Right.
just now you're able to share that with them. And there's probably a little bit of an additional benefit in getting some sort of response from them. Not that you do it for the response, but I don't know, like it's nice to hear someone else's feedback or see someone else's
Well, yeah, of
response to what
course.
you've had. But then for the significant other, even just hearing the things that your significant other is grateful for you will be impactful because oftentimes they may share things that like you don't even realize is something that they're grateful for
Right.
about you, right? Like you
Or
do,
or or not even necessarily grateful about, right? But you may not realize that that hasn't like any sort of material impact,
right?
right? Like it, you know, if you, I don't know, the easiest example I can think of is we write notes to our kids and put them in their lunchbox every day when they go to school.
Right.
And, we don't ever really hear anything about that from them. But
Unless
if,
we write something like ridiculous and then
well,
they'll
yeah,
usually
yeah,
bring
yeah.
it,
But
which
like
sometimes.
if one day they came to us and said, "Hey, I'm really grateful that you do that. It makes my day better every single day." Like that would be like, "Oh,
Right.
good. It's having the impact I hope it had." But like right now we have no idea if that's even having an impact. Right. And there may be, like I said, that was just an easy example, but there may be things that you're doing for your spouse that you don't think anything of.
Right.
And then you hear from them like, I'm really grateful
This really
that
means something.
you're like, oh shit. Well, okay then.
Right. Right. I don't know where else I was going with that as we got off on that a little tangent.
Sorry, tangents, man. They wreck everything.
Yeah. So, anyways, so that's kind of the premise there. The thing that I was considering, and I did want to do like a live share here, but you, like I said, you asked me if I wanted to participate in this, and or if
I
I'd be
did.
open to participating in this, and then I said yes. And
You
then, like I
did.
said, you just went ahead and implemented it. You sent
I
me
did.
at the gym 3 things that you were grateful for me for yesterday. And as you said earlier on, like there's no rules per se here.
Right.
So you can figure out what works best for you, how you want to do this. It could also be something that evolves, right? Maybe the way that you start out doing it, maybe it evolves from there into another way or version of doing it.
Right.
Um, when you sent that yesterday, I, of course, was grateful for
Ha.
the 3 things that you shared. But I actually would like to make it an intentional thing that we share with each other face to face.
Okay.
Man, that's like totally the response I was hoping for from you. Okay. No, I was thinking about it yesterday when you sent it because I was caught off guard when you sent it to me because I had, and this is just another like dynamic of how our brains can function differently and think about things, right? Because when you asked me if I was open to it, I automatically like I assumed it would be something that we would make the time for every single day. I assumed it would probably be in the morning, wouldn't have to be, but that we would share face to face because I don't know, to me it's can be more intimate, more impactful to like hear that from your significant other, like them actually like speak the words and share the things.
Sure.
Um, so anyways, that was my thought. And that's why like I was caught off guard when you sent it because I was like, oh, one, we're starting already. He didn't say like we're starting tomorrow. And then two, I was like, oh, I thought that we would do this in person and not over text. And then as my female brain, then I started going like, well, shit, like
Oh
I
boy.
don't have mine ready. I don't have mine ready all day already. Like he already sent these to me. And then, like I said, I just never ended up sending them. So that was my
Well,
thought
number
process.
one, to address your points in order here. Number one, we're not going to Mars,
I know.
right? We're starting. We're saying 3 things we're grateful to each
I
other.
know. I
So why
know.
wouldn't I start it the day after I said we were going to do it?
I don't know.
Number two, when we discussed that, I said, and we can say them to each other, or we can send a message, or write a note, whatever works. So I'm sorry that you assumed it was going to be spoken word performances.
I wasn't disappointed. I just, like I said,
I didn't say you were disappointed. I said I'm sorry that you assumed that these would all be spoken word performances.
Okay.
So,
There. All
but
right.
sure, we can knock them out face to face.
We can. So I thought it might be good for us just to illustrate the practice here on the call.
Okay.
or
You go
on the
first.
podcast. I will go first. Thank you. Um, and again, I think what the cool thing is about it is it not only can it provide some insight to your significant other just about qualities about themselves or behaviors that they have that they may not even be aware of, as you said earlier, are impactful to not just their significant other, but potentially outside of their significant other as well, right? Um, but also for the person identifying these things is, I think for me, it makes me slow down
Sure.
because it's so easy to like brush over in our life the little things.
Well, right. That's ultimately that's what a gratitude practice is, right? It's an antidote to taking things for granted.
Right. Just a reminder of like, hey,
Right.
there are good things about this person that I chose to be married to, and I need to remember them.
I don't like how
So
much you're laughing when you say that.
stop. I mean, do you want me to be like cranky and in a bad mood?
Well, of course not. But,
Okay. Uh, so one of the things that I am grateful for you, is that how you say it? That I'm grateful for you for? I'm grateful for you. There's too many
just say
fours.
I'm grateful for and then finish the dang sentence.
Um, I am grateful for the way you adapt to my quirks,
Like talking
or
really damn slow.
I don't know if nuance is nuance. I couldn't actually give you a definition of nuance.
I we
It
know you
feels
can.
right. It feels right. My quirks,
Yes,
some of my
that's much
hangouts.
better.
Um, that I'm sure somebody might diagnose it as, oh, hey, you really shouldn't do that.
Autism.
But no,
No.
not diagnose me. No, I mean like diagnose the fact that you compensate for some of these quirks of mine.
Well,
Um,
and to be clear, like you said, some of them.
yeah, not all of them,
And well,
but
because you were saying like some people might diagnose as like, oh, you shouldn't do that, right? And some of them I don't, but
right.
some,
But like one of the things for, the last several years, you will let me know when you're leaving places, like when you're headed home, um, when you were working outside of the home and you were traveling to work, you would let me know when you got to work. Um, and that was something that you didn't love doing. I'm sure at times it felt like you were reporting to me
at
and
times,
all the time. And for me, it wasn't coming like my quirk around that, for lack of better phrasing, wasn't really because I wanted to try to control you or just always know your whereabouts because of whatever. But it had to do with, you know, past experiences I've had, as well as traumatic happenings of people who were in accidents or things occurred when they were not around. And so, anyways, you recognized that anxiousness in me when I hadn't heard from you or I didn't know. And you ended up deciding that, hey, it's actually a lot less painful for me if I just update her here or there, like, hey, I made it to work. Hey,
right?
I'm on my way home, that sort of thing. Um, because it would set my mind and my heart at ease a little bit. And I appreciate that because I do understand that that trait of yours isn't something that everyone would like, not every man would do that. Um, or even consider doing it, nor should you have to. But you just recognize, hey, this would help things go a little bit smoother and help her feel a bit more at ease if I did that. And so I'll take the time to do it. So I'm
Thank you.
thankful that you do that.
Thanks.
Um, you're welcome. I am grateful that you have become someone who is open to growth and working on yourself. And to some extent in your life, I believe you've always been that person. Obviously, I've not been around for your entire life, but you've always been someone open to growth. But I just think in the years that we've been together, and definitely in most recent years, you just continue to have this desire to become better. And you are open and willing to seek out different opportunities and experiences to help you become better. And to me, I'm really grateful for that because I know there are a lot of men and women that exist that aren't interested in becoming better or at least doing the work to become better. And also allow different things to become obstacles in them, even if they're open to it. They won't go through the necessary hoops or challenges in order to make that happen. And I just, just the fact that you're willing to work on yourself, you go to the gym, you work out, you're willing to, you know, work on our healthy habits, you're going to therapy, like those are all things that just I recognize that like not every significant other would be open and willing to actually do. And I'm very, very thankful that you are that kind of man.
Thanks.
You're so stoic. This is something else, by the way, and I'm cool because I know him, but like you do need to manage your expectations around this. And honestly, you should have no expectations of your significant other in this practice.
Well, yeah, don't be a manipulative asshole. Like, don't be that person.
Yeah, like if
Like,
you agree
oh,
to
she
participate,
she didn't cry when I told her I was grateful about
right,
this. Oh my, don't.
right, or he didn't respond in the way that I thought he would. Yeah, like it will totally defeat the purpose of doing it. It will have the
Right,
reverse impact, and you don't want that. Like this should be something that if you want to do it and like surrender the outcome. It's without expectation. It's simply
right.
because you're choosing that you want to frame your spouse in this way and express your gratitude for them, period.
Anywho,
Um,
third point.
that was important and valuable, you jackass.
Whoa,
Just,
ma'am.
that's one of the funniest things that you do.
What?
The whole ma'am thing. Because we do it with our kids too. Ma'am, sir. I just think it's so funny, which will take me to my third thing is I am extremely appreciative, even if sometimes it does push the envelope, your sense of humor.
Well,
Because
like that thing I sent to you the other day. I don't push the envelope near as much as I'd like to.
oh,
So I
I
keep a lot
I
of it up
know.
here.
I know, and there's the little bonus piece of gratitude. I'm glad that sometimes you do not go to the extremes or lengths that you would like to. But no, I appreciate your sense of humor. It certainly provides much needed comic relief at times. And for me, as someone that tends to lean toward more of the serious side of things, it is much welcomed and needed. And probably
Well,
one of the only reasons, not the only reasons, but one of the significant reasons that we work,
true story.
period. So
Thanks.
you're welcome.
So first off, here's a big difference between guys and girls. Because
Mine was way lengthier than
oh yeah,
you just want to be
yeah.
like bing, bang, boom.
Right. I'm fixing to give you three sentences.
Aw.
I'm not going to give you I'm a grateful and here's a 400 word essay on why I'm grateful for that point. Figure it out. And if you got questions, ask questions later. Anyway, I'm grateful for how you love our kids, for all the little things you do, making their birthdays special. You're the one that came up with the idea for the notes in the lunch boxes, all the little things like that. And I actually told one of the kids that the other day. Had to have been Dax because his birthday is most recent. I said, you need to be more grateful for your mother because she's the one that does all this birthday stuff. Like, if it was up to me, I mean, we'd get a cake and some gifts and whatnot, and I'd high five you in the morning and say happy birthday, but it wouldn't be the production that it is. So anyway, I,
Well, and see, here's right here why this can be such an incredible practice, right? Because I often feel like I'm a shit mom, right?
well,
That
sure,
I
everybody feels like that.
well, I understand that I'm not alone on this little island over here, but I'm
No,
just
I meant
saying
about
for
you.
me, no, but like I often feel like I'm a shit mom that I don't do all of the things that I need to do or would like to do, and of the things that I do, I very much so, downplay their significance, right? And so it is helpful to hear something like this from you that like you notice and you believe it's impactful. Um, yeah.
Great. I'm also grateful for your growth in your kitchen ability.
Aw,
Well,
I have become better.
you have. I mean, let's be honest. When we first got together,
Oh, he would not. This was him
train wreck city.
when we first started dating. I would be like, I would be like, "Hey, do you want to come hang out tonight or whatever?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, sure." And I would say like, "I'm like, well, do you want me to make us dinner?" And he'd be like, "No, like I
No,
have some
I'll bring
leftover."
something.
Or he would be like, "I got some leftover pizza still at home that I need to get rid of. It's gonna go bad, so I'll just eat before I." Like he turned down me making us food so often.
With good reason. But she's become quite capable. So, old dogs, new tricks, whatnot.
What's something that this I know this is killing you because this is not the male thing,
No, it's
but
fine. It's fine.
what's something that I make that you're like, hey, go you. I won't even ask you to be like, oh, I love that you make, but like you're just like, yeah, good for you.
Well, I mean, that
Well, I mean, that's probably not a
that's
fair
so far
question.
outside the realm of things I think about. And
Well, and also we eat like so simply in our home. It's
right,
not like I'm baking
right.
cakes or casseroles or making some sort of
That
dishes. I'm
that
not like
34 layer lasagna you made the other day was amazing. That's not happening.
okay,
Listen,
you're
I'm
off the
just
hook. I
super
get it.
glad you don't burn the shit out of my microwave popcorn anymore,
Well, we don't even have
or
microwave
haven't
popcorn.
recently.
I
Anyway,
still burn quesadillas like a champ, though.
she's big fan of throwing something on the stove and then going and doing something else.
I just I'm trying to get shit done and it backfires.
Mm.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
that's not going on the list. Well, maybe it sort of is. I'm grateful for the good things that mouth do.
Oh my word.
And, number one, I really am. Number two, that just serves as an example to our beloved listeners that it doesn't all have to be like the most serious thing in the world,
Right. It shouldn't be,
right?
honestly. It should be all things, big,
Right.
small.
Such a child.
Takes one to know one.
Oh, listen, I am well aware that I am 12 mentally. I get it. Anyway,
Well, that brings up. Oh, did you have something more to say about my mouth?
not on a podcast with your mother in the other room.
No, but that does bring up something that you could challenge yourself with in this practice as well. Is of course, what are the good things that you are grateful for your significant other for, right? But you could also challenge yourself with maybe sometimes expressing gratitude for parts of them that maybe aren't your cup of tea,
Right.
maybe sometimes aren't the greatest, whatever, but can you look at that trait of theirs or that behavior of theirs and actually find something that you are grateful that they do that, or you are grateful that they think that way or are that way for these reasons, right?
Right. Banger.
Banger.
So
So
the
there
big
it is.
nug, be
Gratitude.
grateful.
It reframes things. It doesn't eliminate challenges. It doesn't make everything perfect, right? But it does help get you in a good space. And
Right.
it's kind of like our mantra of same team, that whenever that is said, no matter how hairy the situation is, it automatically triggers a reminder in my brain of like, I love this man. I love this man. I choose this man. I might want to like strangle the shit out of him right now, but like it's a good trigger and a good reminder. And so I believe that this
You heard it
practice,
here first, gang. She's got
what?
to be reminded that she loves me.
When you are in the heat of the moment, that might not be the thing that's like right here.
Yeah, whatever. I will cry
You
like
are
a baby
so
as I
full
strangle
of
you.
ish.
Be like, I love you
I
so
love her.
much.
Anyways, it'll
Anyways,
just gratitude. It reframes things, good reminders,
you
beneficial
know,
to both you and your significant other.
and you know what else I'm grateful for? All of our beloved listeners who like, comment, and share on these episodes. That turns our cranks.
It does. There
And
aren't
so
that
you should
many
go
of
do
them,
it and do
but
it
you should do
more.
more of it.
Right.
But shout out to the ones that do. Even if it's just every now and then, we
Big ups.
certainly appreciate it. And going back to what we said a little bit ago, we do this honestly without expectation. It's
Zero
nice
expectation.
if you like, comment, and share, of course, because it helps us to reach more people, and it certainly helps us to know, like, are we being helpful to you or not? But we do this without expectation. Like, literally, we decided we were going to do this, and I don't know if one person
We just
is
started.
paying attention or nobody's paying attention these days, or
Right.
whatever. But that's how people work, right? So, anyways, we're grateful for you. That's
Anyways,
the point.
love y'all.
Love you all very much. We will see you next week.